Borders are a transition from one space to another. They are hierarchical in both nature and governance that form boundaries. Natural boundaries create conditions that provide resources for human habitat and movement from one space to another. Natural boundaries, such as arid deserts and mountainous Alps, restrict the movement and flow of humans transitioning from these spaces. These restrictions have seen civilizations separated over time. The governance and characteristics of these civilizations diverge and become distinct. This process creates an othering effect. Othering can create tension and conflict when different civilizations come into contact. This can result in artificial boundaries that are socially negotiated. The tools or theory of constructivism have helped border theorists navigate through international relations. It is not a static representation of one or the other, but a dialogue for transitions and therefore a process of assemblages that informs one about their ability to move from one place to another. So far, we've seen how nature and the environment have influenced the boundaries between civilization and how contact between them can bring about social boundaries. The social negotiations observed in constructivism create what is known as bordering. Land can be taken or agreed upon by the parties involved. Bordering creates identities, us and them. This concept is borrowed from abstract ideas in philosophy that conceive individuals ontologically. That is, humans are all subjects of being and can be defined in many different categories. We begin by separating each other as I and you. The borders begin, and there is a spatial territorialization between you and I. Categories of location, economics, and culture have fundamentally driven the bordering process. Location establishes the proximity between people, ostensibly people that cooperate to form a society. Economics informs the value of people. A fisherman in a coastal area is more valuable than a fisherman in the desert. Culture is a result of the conditions in which individuals operate. People work together to form institutions to protect social norms and ideals. The value of these categories are prioritized and form societies with distinct identities. When categories shift and are reprioritized, societies take on new identities, and we begin to see that the debordering and the rebordering process. The Westphalian system identified societies with the nation-state system. This resulted in cooperation, trade, and conflict. The veracity and speed of technology has challenged the contemporary Westphalian system of international relations. Identities between individuals are overlapping with indifference to their nation state. This interferes with location, economics, and culture. First, the internet has begun to remove the border category of location. Gamers from 5 different nations can form one team to compete against another team with members from different nations themselves. Secondly, it affects economics. Automation has begun to reduce the economic value of individuals in society. The closure of manufacturing plants has created alienation and indifference to the status quo. Last, we have seen the rise of cultural institutions, multinational corporations have begun to displace institutions that once informed people about social norms and ideals. Although institutions such as religion are increasing worldwide, they are decreasing in developed countries, and the role of corporations take an active role in communicating morals in the social media fora. Although there has been a reactionary response with nationalism and indifference to globalization, and therefore debordering. The acceleration of technology poses an interesting question for border studies. Alexander Wendt asks, if everyone becomes an American, i.e., if categories are widespread and overlapping with shared identities, is there a need for borders? Well, my answer is yes. As we have seen, bordering is a process. As categories are reprioritized, borders undergo the process of assemblages that result in debordering and rebordering. The category of American does not end the process of bordering. So the question should be, what will borders look like?